Chapter 41, 41, Chapter 41, Destroy the Evil God's Will, Strong Will. 41, Chapter 41, Destroy the Evil God's Will, Strong Will. A moment later, the dark and evil thoughts tried to invade Su Yang's soul consciousness and corrupt it. Come, become one with me. Believe in my divinity, and I will give you anything you want. Sink into it. Don't try to refuse, don't try to resist. The evil whispers in the dark seemed to shake in the depths of Su Yang's soul consciousness, making a faint sound. This was an invasion from an evil god. If an ordinary living being were to hear this sound, their soul would be distorted instantly, and they would lose their sense of self completely. Blood would flow out of their 7 orifices, and they would die. Just like now, the black cloth on the evil god's statue was lifted. The members of the Nightfall race surrounding Su Yang all had crazed expressions on their faces, as blood flowed out of their eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. They swayed their bodies madly until they exhausted their last bit of energy and fell to the ground, losing all signs of life. The Dusk people were just cannon fodder sent by the evil god of Dusk. The purpose was to let Su Yang see her medium statue. Now that they had met Su Yang, the Dusk race was pretty much useless. At that moment, the evil god's gloomy voice was heard. Su Yang was stubbornly resisting. The corruption from the evil god's whispers was too strong, and it was a power that belonged to the gods. He closed his eyes tightly. He tried his best to control his spiritual consciousness, trying to block out the pervasive murmurs. But this was too difficult. The evil god's murmurs were too invasive, so how could they be blocked so easily? Get lost. Finally, when he realized he couldn't block it, Su Yang couldn't help but growl in anger. But it was useless. At this moment, he was trying his best to think of what power he had that could help him. At this moment, an ethereal voice sounded in his heart. Brother, hold on. It turned out that Heart Slayer had sensed Su Yang's current situation and transmitted its voice through the contract. At the same time, Heart Slayer also used the power of the contract to help Su Yang resist the murmurs of the evil god. After Su Yang heard the voice of the Heart Slayer, he felt the pressure from the evil god on his body decrease a lot. After exhaling, a thought suddenly flashed through his mind. Reality and nothingness could be achieved with a single thought. As long as I want to, I can even kill this evil god. Sure, it'll work. Thinking of this, Su Yang's tightly closed eyes opened instantly. His eyes were filled with determination. In an instant, in his perception, the Heart Slayer seemed to have transformed into a blade that could cut through all nothingness. As the evil gods mumbled in low voices, they transformed from nothingness into a physical form and appeared in his palm. Between his thoughts, the blade slashed down. In an instant, a saber ray that could shatter the sky slashed out. It directly destroyed the ethereal evil god murmurs. Void severing, so that's how it is. In Su Yang's heart, he had a new understanding of this void slayer profession. At this moment, as the evil god's murmurs disappeared, the evil god's statue also trembled. The will of the evil god of Dusk attached to the statue seemed to be in disbelief. What? It's possible. The will of the Twilight evil god was shocked beyond belief. His whisper, it could only be defended and blocked by the corresponding power, or he could rely on an even more powerful force to seal the source of the murmurs. However, the undying characteristic of the evil gods was complicated to destroy. Therefore, most of the evil gods were sealed existences. And now, what did he sense? There was someone who could directly shatter the whisper of the evil god and make it disappear. This was a completely different concept from the defensive seal. To be able to write down the whispers of the evil gods so quickly, then, did he also have the ability to destroy an evil god that was immortal? This the existence that completed the mythical advancement mission. He's only a bronze rank existence, but he already has terrifying abilities. As expected of the legendary existence that has the possibility of transcendence. I must get him. I will definitely. He wanted to, he got he. With a low murmur, the evil god statue looked at Su Yang greedily and gradually disappeared. On the other side, after Su Yang destroyed the whisper of the evil god, successfully eliminated evil god corruption. It will +1. It will +1. Acquired special attribute strong will. A strong will. Effect will +5 mental defense +30%. Introduction. Mental defense as strong as an iron wall, extremely solid. Will. Spiritual defense. Soon, Su Yang understood from these attributes that these were hidden. Other than will, the hidden attributes were charm and luck. Compared to essential attributes, were hidden attributes complicated to improve. Attribute points could not improve them. Moreover, it was impossible to check these hidden attributes without unique methods. However, Su Yang had delusion breaker eyes. With the delusion breaker eyes, he could quickly check his hidden attributes. Hidden attribute will 15, charm 8, luck 9. They will attribute it the highest. Resisting the evil god will increase by 3 points. The evil god's resistance has been eliminated. Strong will gained has increased by 5 points. In other words, the original will attribute was 7 points. It seems that my original hidden attributes are quite high. Su Yang was delighted with his hidden attributes, but he knew that he was still under the threat of the evil god. He did not continue to check the information of the hidden attribute. Su Yang held the Heart Slayer in his hand and looked around. At that moment, he could see corpses all around him, other than the corpses of the various foreign races that had died in the chaotic battle. Around him, another group of smiling dusk people had died from bleeding from their 7 orifices. Evil gods whisper, an area of effect attack that doesn't distinguish between friend and foe. Su Yang looked coldly at the corpses of the dusk race. Then he glanced around and looked at the statue of the evil god that put him in danger. Suddenly, the corpses of the dusk race and the other foreign races around them started to mutate. It first twisted and then exploded. Pieces of the body, mixed with dirty blood, flew everywhere. Su Yang reacted quickly. A barrier made of strong wind appeared in front of him, blocking the twisting pieces of the corpse. What's going on? Su Yang's eyes narrowed as he looked through the wind wall at the situation around him. Very quickly, he saw it. The bloody pieces of the corpse quickly floated toward the statue of the evil god. Chapter 42, Chapter 42, Understanding of Blade Techniques and a Gold Boss. Evil God's Statue. Su Yang's pupils shrank as he looked at the place where the corpse, blood, and bones flew to. It was this guy who gave him a headache. Without any hesitation, Su Yang directly held the heart cutter. A gale slash was instantly swung out. The floating corpse and blood were directly split open. Then he returned to the statue of the evil god. Bang! At this moment, the evil god's statue suddenly burst out with an intense and demonic light. It instantly pierced through the wall above. It was only then that Su Yang realized that he was in a huge underground space. Of course, this sudden situation only diverted his attention for a moment. His eyes were fixed on the statue of the evil god. Su Yang would never let such a dangerous thing like him escape. Furthermore, this fellow had just taken advantage of his inattentiveness and attempted to use the corruption of the hell of the evil god to communicate with him. Only by crushing this guy's bones could he vent his hatred. Moreover, Su Yang had already thought about it. If he had the chance in the future, he would definitely find the true body of this evil god's statue. He would teach this guy a heavy lesson. The evil god's will on his statue also noticed Su Yang, who was charging towards it. He laughed contemptuously. Then he controlled the evil god's statue to quickly fly up into the sky. The blood, pieces, and bones in the surroundings also flew up, and at the same time, the speed at which they condensed kept increasing. HMPH. Su Yang snorted coldly when he saw the statue trying to escape. He held the heart cutter in his hand and quickly waved it in the direction of the evil god's statue. One after another, storm slashes flew over. A slash containing the 4 types of saber-intent lightning, raging fire, and water burst forth. A successfully learned new skill, Inferno Slash. Successfully learned a new skill, Thunder Slash. Successfully learned a new skill, Heart Jade Rain Slash. Not long after, as Su Yang attached the power of the 4 types of blade intent to the heart cutter, he slashed. In addition, he had the demon-slaying knife body, a god-grade talent. There was also the raging fire, lightning, and water-type saber intent that he had completely comprehended. After many slashes, he had learned 3 new skills. Su Yang felt that it might not take long for him to comprehend the 3 platinum sword skills, like the Gale sword technique. Facing Su Yang's blade attack and NBSP, the evil god statue didn't choose to fight directly. Instead, as he dodged, he controlled the blood and corpse pieces around him to resist. At this moment, the evil god's intent on the statue was communicating with the main body, asking for more power. Damn the restrictions of the rules. My main body can't send too much power. The evil god's consciousness cursed in a low voice when it didn't get a response. In the heaven, there were rules in some areas that even the high and mighty gods could not violate. They could only obey. Just like the statue of the evil god, the blue planet became the new battlefield for the heaven. Within the first month of their arrival, the area of activity of bronze-level bosses and above were restricted. At the same time, silver-level professionals were not allowed to descend. Within a year of descending, gold-rank professionals from other worlds were not allowed to descend. This was the protection period given by Heaven Realm to the many descended worlds, and this rule was something that even gods had to abide by. Therefore, the evil gods could not obtain more power from the main body. As an invader, I'm at most a level 30 bronze grade. Even if I'm level 30, with my main body's strength boost and my evil god's characteristics, I'm not afraid of ordinary silver grade professionals. But that's the guy who has already completed the mythical advancement mission, a monster that can kill the murmurs of the evil gods. If I want to assimilate him, I can only use a power that is several times stronger than his. It seems that I can only get more power in return by transforming into a boss-level monster. Although I can only stay on the blue planet after turning into a boss monster, it's not impossible to assimilate the monster's anger and sacrifice it to my main body. The evil gods thought madly and quickly made a decision. The speed at which the blood, body parts and bones in the surroundings, condensed, increased significantly. Su Yang's eyes narrowed when he saw this. As the wind around him blew, he increased his speed again and rushed toward the evil god's statue. Although I don't know what this guy is trying to do, I can't let him succeed. At this moment, in the central district of Eagle United Nation, a blood-red beam of light suddenly shot out from the ground. Then the bloody body parts and bones appeared in the sight of everyone in the city. Oh my God, what's happening? A rain of blood. Oh my God, is this destruction? Damn it, what's going on? Does anyone know? In the city center, the people from Eagle Alliance who had witnessed this terrifying scene screamed in fear. At this moment, warning, a gold boss is about to be born. This area will become the gold boss's territory. Warning, a gold boss is about to be born. This area will become the gold boss's territory. Warning, a gold boss is about to be born. This area will become the gold boss's territory. A gold boss? How is this possible? This is the city center. How could a gold boss suddenly appear here? Run, if we stay here, we'll die. At this moment, almost everyone in the city fell into a state of panic and madness. Meanwhile, on the forum, the news of the sudden emergence of a gold boss in Eagle Alliance and the fact that it was about to become the boss's territory was in full swing. Oh my God, the boss actually appeared in the city. This is too scary. Gold boss, my God, what the hell is going on? This is crazy. Fortunately, we're not in Eagle Alliance. This city is finished. The Dragon Kingdom's officials, the Eagle Alliance Palace, the Bear Kingdom, and so on. The leaders of the various countries were also extremely shocked by this matter. At the same time, they sent people to pay close attention. What they wanted to know was why a gold boss would suddenly appear in the city center. This news was very important to them. Damn it, are the Dusk race crazy? He's making such a big deal out of it. No, it's possible that he's already gone crazy. Could it be that he is also very fond of Heavenly Sun and is determined to assimilate it? When some professionals from other worlds learned of this news, they were extremely shocked and quickly reported the entire incident. You want to turn it into a gold boss? How can I let you succeed just like that? Hearing the announcement, Su Yang immediately understood what the statue of the evil god was trying to do. Chapter 43, Chapter 43, Unstoppable Conversion, Spirit Annihilating Slash. The evil god's statue in front of him was trying to turn into a gold boss. Previously, he had relied on the charging method of sword draw to kill the gold boss, the king of blade demons. As a result, he had almost brought that fellow back to life. Therefore, even though Su Yang was the first person on the blue planet to kill a gold boss, he was not too proud. Even now, after completing the mythical advancement mission, he is much stronger than when he challenged the king of blade demons. However, if he were to face a gold boss again, he would not underestimate his opponent. Moreover, this was a gold boss transformed from a statue with the evil god's will. He must be even more powerful and challenging to deal with than the king of blade demons. He didn't have much time to charge up his sword draw. I can't let it be converted successfully. We must kill it before it turns into a yellow gold boss. Su Yang's eyes were cold as he immediately made a decision. Using his body as a blade, he instantly activated the state of using his body as a blade. At this moment, Su Yang felt that there was no stray thought in his heart. Some other thoughts were suppressed. Su Yang, who had turned into a mad blade, only had a trace of rationality left in his eyes. There was only one thought in his mind: to kill the statue of the evil god that was turning into a gold boss. At the same time, Su Yang, who had entered the state of the crazy blade, was also stunned. His condition and strength had increased by 5 times. Su Yang's speed increased as his strength increased. With the help of the wind, he quickly approached the evil god's statue in the air. At this moment, the evil god's statue continuously absorbed large amounts of blood, body parts, and bones. A lump of flesh, formed by pieces of corpses, gradually appeared in the air. It was also accompanied by a series of soft murmurs mixed with filthy and bewitching drones, constantly appearing from the mass of meat. He only emitted the evil god's murmurs. The effect of taking the initiative to invade Su Yang was much smaller than before. But even so, the people in the city who heard the faint whispers of the evil god still felt an unparalleled headache. Some people with low mental defenses had blood flowing out of their 7 orifices. The ones who reacted quickly had already escaped from this place. Is this the power of a gold boss? Just the sound it emitted is so terrifying. It's too scary. I feel like my card is going to burst. Run, keep running, don't stop. Can humans resist such a terrifying monster? Under this terrifying pressure, the invisible whispers of the evil god that were emitted were hard to recover from. After experiencing the terror of a gold boss for himself, the people in the city fell into despair. Among them, the most potent professions were only at level 10 or above, and most were just over level 20. In the face of this gold boss that was about to be born, he did not even think of challenging it. They even felt that they would die the next moment if they looked at it. That's too scary. It's just a picture, and it's already so frightening. Is a gold boss that's scary just from its appearance? Such a terrifying gold boss. How did Heavenly Sun get the first kill? On the forum, countless people were paying attention to the situation in Eagle Alliance City. Some fearless reporters were also boldly broadcasting the scene of the birth of the gold boss in the city. This might be the first time all the Blue Planet humans had seen a gold boss. The people on the forum trembled when they saw the pictures and videos broadcast. Is a gold boss such an existence? Can firearms and explosives be used to deal with this? After watching the video, the senior officials of the Dragon Kingdom were silent for a long time. They should be able to deal damage, but it seems that our technological weapons can't be used within the boss's range of activity. The others chimed in. Wait a minute, I think someone is charging at the gold boss. One of the higher-ups, who had been paying attention to the situation on the forum, suddenly exclaimed. The rest of the higher-ups were also attracted and looked over. Who is this? How dare he? It was him, Heavenly Sun. Heavenly Sun, how is that possible? How could he suddenly appear there? I'm not sure, but with the appearance of the heaven, anything is possible. Heavenly Sun, is he going to challenge this gold boss? Don't underestimate him. He's the one who obtained the first clear of a gold boss. Currently, he's the only one in the entire world who can do so. The Dragon Kingdom's officials, who were paying close attention to the forum, were shocked. At this moment, facing the wind and waves, Su Yang quickly rushed to the gold boss that was transforming from the statue of the evil god. Instantly, he appeared in the line of sight of countless people. Shock, surprise, and disbelief appeared on the faces of countless people. As Su Yang quickly approached, the information about the meatball in front of him also appeared in front of him. Evil God's Flesh, Level 30 Gold Boss. Status, Continuous Conversion. HP 2 million, growing. Defense 8,000, growing. Attack 40,000, growing. Skills: Evil God's Whisper, Flesh and Blood Transformation, Fear Recovery, Twilight Worship. Evil God's Enhancement, Divine Enhancement, 5 times Enhancement, Flesh Proliferation, Nullifying Weaknesses. The transformation is not complete. I'm going to destroy you now. Su Yang's eyes narrowed as killing intent filled the air. He used Heart Slayer, the blade shining coldly, and quickly cut down on the meat lump. Sharp slashes appeared on the meatball in an instant. As Su Yang quickly swung his heart slash, huge knife marks appeared on the meat. However, after being attacked, the balls of flesh wriggled, and the wounds on their bodies gradually disappeared. It's useless. I've already fused with flesh and blood. You can't stop me. Once I succeed, I'll make sure you suffer a fate worse than death. After the evil god's consciousness saw that Su Yang's attack did not cause much damage to it, it wriggled on the ball of meat, revealing a ferocious face, and said gloomily, "Complete infusion with my body." Su Yang felt it with his heart. He immediately knew that the statue of the evil god in front of him had fused with flesh and blood. He would have to completely crush the flesh and blood if he wanted to kill it. And this would take a lot of time. By that time, the boss would have already become a gold boss. Since that's the case, I'll have to try it. Su Yang, who had a deeper understanding of the Void Slayer profession, planned to try a new skill spirit extermination slash. He had cut off the spiritual intelligence of the meatball in front of him, turning it into a monster without any consciousness. Chapter 44, Chapter 44, Nullifying the Weakness, Divinity. Su Yang squinted his eyes and felt the evil god's consciousness in the ball of meat in front of him. The ability to think independently was a feeling that one could not accurately sense its existence. Su Yang could touch this point with the Void Slayer profession's support. He could only sense the evil god's will in the vast meatball in front of him when he wanted to attack its spiritual nature, which was an imaginary existence. The evil god's will was converted from flesh and blood. While transforming the gold boss, the evil god's will was divided into parts and distributed to flesh and blood around its body. By relying on this method, Su Yang could not kill him quickly. However, the existence of spiritual intelligence was a cycle, and it would not split up with its thoughts. I'll be able to destroy its intelligence. After feeling it, he could feel the spiritual existence of the evil god's consciousness. Su Yang had already concluded. Hence, he held the heart cutter in his hand and slashed down at the huge meatball by relying on the perception of the Void Slayer profession. This slash looked like it had landed on the meatball, as usual. In reality, this slash was aimed at the intelligence that existed in the evil god's will. Sensing that he had indeed cut the spiritual nature of the meatball in front of him, Su Yang's chopping motion also accelerated. The evil god's consciousness, hiding under the meatball, saw Su Yang looking at it randomly and showing a ferocious mocking face. In its eyes, Su Yang had no other way. Although he could hurt it every time he swung his sword, it was only slight damage. What was the use of that? It was constantly transforming into a boss, and its HP increased rapidly. It also could recover automatically. Even if he had been slashed by Su Yang hundreds of thousands of times, he would not be in any life-threatening danger. At this time, as the spiritual wisdom of the evil gods will continue to decrease, it could not notice Su Yang's actual intention at all. Heavens, can Heavenly Sun defeat this gold boss? Too powerful. Even Heavenly Sun's attack is so powerful, but it doesn't seem to work. Didn't Heavenly Sun complete the first kill of a gold boss? Why is it that it can't even deal any real damage to a gold boss? Is there a possibility that he used some powerful item to complete the first clear of the gold boss? A powerful tool. You don't even dare to face a gold boss. Perhaps Heavenly Sun has his thoughts that we can't understand. At this moment, no matter who was paying attention to the battle between Su Yang and the Meatball in Hua City of the Eagle Alliance country, and it was someone who had watched videos on the forum. Su Yang's attack didn't seem to have any effect. They couldn't help but start discussing. It's no use, it's no use. Your attack can't threaten me at all. The flesh on the Meatball twisted, forming a sinister face that laughed coldly. However, Su Yang didn't intend to pay attention to it. He continued to concentrate on holding the heart slash and continued to swing it. The transformation is about to be completed. You should also. What's going on? Damn it, what did you do to me? Roll. In the end, under Su Yang's persistence, the giant meatball in front of him gradually turned from being able to mock wantonly to a monster that could only roar. It's finally done. Su Yang let out a breath of air. Su Yang's eyes were calm as he looked at the meatball roaring like a wild beast without any thoughts. Spiritual wisdom was an imaginary existence. It could indeed be effective by relying on the characteristics of Void Slash. However, in actual combat, it was still too exhausting. However, it was all worth it. Now the meatball without its intelligence was still a gold boss and was very powerful. However, to Su Yang, the meatball's threat to him could have been better than before. After losing its meatball, it could only move by instinct. Facing Su Yang's continuous attacks, it wasn't easy to make the right choice. Half an hour. Su Yang also noticed that the boss in front of him had reached his killing line. He didn't plan to drag this on any longer. And so, at this moment, with the 4 types of blade intent stacked on top of the heart's executioner, its power was increased by 800%. He attacked instantly. A terrifying slash streaked across the sky. The meatball didn't have any intelligence and didn't even have the consciousness to dodge. It was directly cut in half by this blade. He was killed entirely. Successfully killed evil god's flesh. Received 6 million experience points. Received 100,000 gold coins. Received 5 divinity points. Greedy plunder successfully activated. Obtained special attribute from the evil god, statue's flesh, and blood nullifying weakness. A nullifying weakness. Effect. With this special attribute, you will not have any weaknesses. Nullifying the weakness. Looking at the effect of this attribute, Su Yang couldn't help but frown. No weakness meant that his initially weak eyes, head, and so on were no longer considered weaknesses. In a normal battle, most people would not be aware to attack. However, he was afraid he would encounter someone who did not follow the rules. Therefore, it was good that he didn't have any weaknesses now. You have leveled up. Current level, LV22. Received 100 free attribute points. You have leveled up. Current level, LV23. Received 100 free attribute points. The experience of killing the evil god, statue's flesh directly increased Su Yang's level by 2, reaching level 23. He received 200 free attribute points. After distributing the free attribute points, Su Yang's eyes looked at the divinity he had just obtained. Divinity. This was the first time he had received such an attribute. It should be because the evil god's remains were originally a malicious god intent. Thus, only after killing them would they be able to obtain godheads. Divinity, something related to the gods. I wonder what effects it has. Curious, Su Yang looked at the information related to divinity. Chapter 45, 45, Chapter 45. Increase in trump cards. A divinity. A level divine. Effect 1. When used directly, one divinity point will increase all attributes by 50, and hidden attributes will increase by 1. Effect 2. It can directly strengthen equipment and items. There is a chance to increase the level of equipment and items. Effect 3. Nullifies the usage requirements of special skills. Effect 4. Increase your level and enhance your understanding of the laws of nature. It seems a little too much, but this is good stuff. Su Yang couldn't help but sigh after seeing the information about the divinity. The divinity's effect was indeed very powerful. The skill could be used to increase one's basic attributes and strengths. It could also be used to strengthen equipment and items. Not only that, it could also cancel out some of the requirements for special skills and even sense the laws. This last point should be the greatest use of divinity. Status, the power of law, these should be things that only higher-level existences can come into contact with. Divinity isn't something we can obtain at our current stage. If this gold boss were not transformed from the evil god's will, it would be difficult for me to obtain divinity points at this stage. Very quickly, Su Yang reacted. Divinity. It was such a powerful thing. It took a lot of work to obtain the blue planet at this stage. Now he could obtain 5 divinity points from this evil god's will. This was simply the biggest unexpected gain on this trip. Perhaps he wouldn't be able to obtain any more divine sparks for a long time. After all, this thing was related to the gods. He was only level 23, still in bronze grade, and was far from being a god. Unless a few more beings of the same level as the dusk, the evil god appeared and projected his will onto the blue planet to be destroyed. However, this situation did not seem very likely. 5 divinity points. He looked at the 5 divinity points he had. Su Yang was thinking about how to use it. The simplest method was to consume it directly to increase one's basic attributes. However, he was more optimistic about the divinity's third effect, which was to cancel out the impact of special skills. After all, he still had a trump card skill sword drawer. He saw that one divinity could cancel out the accumulated power of 10,000 sword draws. In other words, these 5 points of divinity would allow him to accumulate 50,000 accumulated power for the sword drawn instantly. For Su Yang, this was more suitable than increasing his basic attributes. With a sword draw and a divinity crystal, he could use it as due-by at a critical moment. Ever since he discovered countless alien races were coveting the blue planet, he had been in a daze. Su Yang didn't dare to relax. He hoped to become stronger until he had enough strength to deal with all the changes that might happen in the future. To put it nicely, it was called protecting the blue planet and the human race. However, the real reason was that he wanted to become stronger to live a more comfortable life. This was the simplest thought in his mind. Now he had the divinity and sword draw as his greatest trump cards. Su Yang also felt more secure in his heart. At the same time, in the world of the dusk race, it was mixed with terrifying and grotesque roars that resounded throughout the world. My will, it's gone. It's who is it? As the dusk trembled, one could vaguely see a vast figure gradually waking up. He was the evil god of dusk. He sensed that the wisp of consciousness that he had dispersed had just disappeared. Therefore, he was furious. At the same time, he had also guessed who had done it. It was because of this that he was even more furious. In the world of the dusk race, countless monsters prostrated on the ground. They felt the rage of the evil god, and all of them trembled. Damn the rules! After roaring for a moment, the figure cursed. He wanted to descend to the blue planet directly, but due to the restrictions of the rules, he could not. I will not give up so easily. An advanced myth, an eternal existence. The figure murmured in a low voice. A gaze passed through countless worlds and looked at Su Yang, who was on the blue star. The evil god of dusk's attention has been drawn to you due to your killing of the evil god's will. You have been marked by the evil god of dusk. Acquired dusk mark. Dusk mark. Effect, the mark of the evil god of dusk. Su Yang felt a little helpless. He carefully felt his body, and there seemed to be an imaginary mark. This must be the mark that the evil god of dusk had left on him. Slashy. Looking at the dusk mark that suddenly appeared, Su Yang would not let it exist. He waved heart slash and slashed down with all his might. He wanted to kill it. It was only after dozens of slashes that it was completely wiped out. I'll remember the twilight evil god. After removing the mark of dusk on his body, Su Yang stared at the void. Damn it! The dusk evil god was enraged again. His mark had disappeared. Detestable! After the anger subsided, the twilight evil god did not continue to mark Su Yang and fell silent. It was as if he had given up. But his eyes flickered, and it seemed he would never give up. Su Yang paused for a moment. After not finding anything out of the ordinary, he looked down. Below him were the meaty corpses that he had killed. These corpses had already lost the support of the evil god's will, and had turned into a pool of filthy flesh and blood scattered over the ground. Su Yang waved his hand and collected the flesh with a faint light. After the evil god's will had transformed into a gold boss, it was affected by the rules of heaven and dropped the item after it was killed. However, Su Yang did not immediately check the items in the light ball. Instead, he scanned his surroundings. Due to his battle with the heretic god's consciousness, most of the buildings in the city had been destroyed. Su Yang rubbed his face awkwardly as he looked at the damaged buildings. This doesn't seem to be the Dragon Kingdom. However, it was destroyed to such an extent. Forget it, I'd better leave quickly. I hope it won't cause too much of a stir. He didn't stay for long. Su Yang activated the teleportation stone and waited for the time to come. Su Yang's figure instantly disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already outside Rock City, where he had killed the Saya lion-headed man. Chapter 46, Chapter 46, The Unrest Caused by Su Yang. It was pitch black all around. It was already late at night in the Dragon Kingdom. Su Yang had no interest in staying in the wilderness for long. After the battle with the gold boss, the evil god's consciousness meatball, he was still a little tired even though he had completed the mythical advancement mission. He quickly returned to his home in Rock City, took a quick shower, and went to bed. At this time, the outside world was in uproar because of Su Yang's invincible figure. He's too strong. He's a gold boss. I can't believe I'm seeing the scene of Helios killing a gold boss. Oh my God. The cloak that Heavenly Sun is wearing is so handsome. Oh my God, was this Heavenly Sun's true strength? This is too strong. Sigh, they were the same batch of professionals after the arrival of heaven, Why is the gap so big? On the forum, the players who had witnessed the death of the gold boss were excited. Countless messages flooded the screen, most related to Su Yang. At the highest level of the Dragon Kingdom, the senior officials of the Dragon Kingdom were no longer sleepy. Is this the most powerful being among the Blue Planet professionals? Compared to Heavenly Sun, Shangyuan Cheng is still far too inferior. As expected of a young man, he's too powerful. Heavenly Sun is the Dragon Kingdom's fortune. Such a strong person should be respected. It's a great fortune for the Dragon Kingdom to have Heavenly Sun. From our contact with Heavenly Sun, I can tell he's not vicious. This is rare news that makes me happy. Ha ha ha. After seeing Heavenly Sun's strength, we must focus on raising our powerhouses. Although they can't compare to Heavenly Sun, they have to be at least good enough. That's right, Shangyuan Cheng and the others are outstanding. It's a pity that Heavenly Sun doesn't intend to join the war zone. The senior officials of the Dragon Kingdom discussed with each other with relaxed smiles. At the same time, in the Eagle Alliance Palace, the higher-ups of the Eagle Alliance were also discussing today's events. Most of the buildings in Hua Cheng were destroyed in the battle. The area where the gold boss appears happens to be in the city's center. I've got some clues. It's the Fuchi family. They were bribed by the alien race and gave they an area in the city's center. The underground area has been transformed into a base. The gold boss is the work of those otherworldly professionals. Why did Heavenly Sun appear there? I'm temporarily not sure. Arrest the Fuchi family first. Someone has to be responsible for the boss's arrival in Hua Cheng. Where's Heavenly Sun? Most of the city was destroyed by him in the battle with the gold boss. When it came to Heavenly Sun, all the higher-ups fell silent. Heavenly Sun, thank him for helping us kill the gold boss and saving the city. Wouldn't that be a little bad? How can we be grateful to a citizen of the Dragon Kingdom? Furthermore, the city's destruction was caused by his battle with the monster. Then you can go to Heavenly Sun and ask for an explanation. The higher-up who had raised the issue with Heavenly Sun instantly fell silent. With the strength that Heavenly Sun displayed during the battle, he did not dare go. In that case, be silent. There's no need to take the initiative to find him. In the end, the higher-ups of Eagle Alliance came to a consensus. Since they did not have the strength, they did not dare to find trouble with Heavenly Sun. Some professionals from the other world who were lucky enough to escape this disaster began to keep a low profile. The Blue Planet now had a Heavenly Sun. After seeing the existence of the Heavenly Sun, they no longer dared to be high profile. Some professionals from the other world had made up their minds not to come within a meter of the Dragon Kingdom in the future. With Heavenly Sun's existence, there's no hope for the upcoming ranking battle. It seems like there's no hope in this new server, Blue Planet. It's a pity. The new server's resources are abundant, but they're gone just like that. Fuck, why did the Blue Planet give birth to a monster like Heavenly Sun? At the mention of Heavenly Sun, some of the professionals from the other world felt a sense of powerlessness. Not necessarily. Suddenly, one of the professionals from another world spoke. That's right, it's not certain yet. If Heavenly Sun can't solve it, don't even think about it. Right. Some professionals from the other world also echoed. I've just received news that the large races that originally looked down on small resource areas like the Blue Planet will join the crusade against the Blue Planet. The elves, the dwarves, the dragons, the demons of the demon realm, and more. These geniuses from the upper realm clans will be joining the ranking battle against the Blue Planet battlefront this time. The foreign world professional explained. Heavens, with so many races from the upper realm, this time's ranking battle will be too difficult. These upper realm races control so many world's resources, and they have rich resources within their race. Why would they suddenly join the ranking battle for the Blue Planet? Could it be because of the sun? The person who has completed the advanced mythical mission is enough to make those upper realm clans understand their thoughts. It seems like we won't be able to get involved in this new server on the Blue Planet. Let's retreat. After hearing the news, professionals from the other world expressed their opinions. In the Devil world, where the Devil clan was located, in the Supreme Store, a figure that looked like a god and a demon raised his head, looked at the void, and slowly spoke. For thousands of years are the people who completed the mythical advancement mission on the Blue Planet. It's just a new district. Let the prisoners participate in the ranking battle and bring that guy back. In a forest filled with spirit Kai, the elf race's handsome men and beautiful women lived. In a towering tree that was filled with spiritual mist, the white-haired old woman who was playing the zither slowly played a few sentences and said to the young man beside her, "The Blue Planet, the ranking battle was about to begin. Let Spirit and the others prepare to participate in the ranking battle of the new Blue Planet region. There will be a chance, right? Please invite the person who completed the mythical advancement mission back." Dragon's territory, the abyssal world, and other prominent families in heaven all had similar orders. Blue Planet, the following day. A ray of sunlight shone in through the window. Su Yang squinted his eyes, stretched his back comfortably, and got up. After a good night's sleep, the fatigue from yesterday's battle swept past his ears. After a simple wash-up and filling his stomach, Su Yang took out the items that had fallen from the evil god's statue and looked at them. Chapter 47, Chapter 47, Twilight Ring, Enhanced Heart Slayer. A divine flesh and blood. Type edible. Effect. After consumption, constitution increases by 50, lifespan increases by 10 years. A twilight ring. Type special item. Effect. Eternal dusk immobilizes your status for an hour. Restrictions once a day. Divine flesh and blood. Can this be eaten? Looking at the items that dropped, Su Yang's gaze turned to the divine flesh and blood, and his heart beat a retreat. This was a piece of fresh meat that looked to be of good quality. But when he thought about it, this had dropped from the meatball. Su Yang felt that it was a little hard to eat. However, the effect of increasing 50 points of vitality and 10 years of lifespan made him think again. Eat or not eat? After some hesitation, Su Yang made a decision. Let's roast it first before eating. After all, this kind of fresh meat was hard to resist, even if it was eaten raw. He didn't know if the divine flesh would be less effective once cooked. Not in a hurry to prepare the fresh meat, Su Yang looked at the dusk ring. The ring of dusk was considered a godly item, and it had no level. It only had one effect, allowing the wearer to stay in one state for an hour. It could be used once a day. This divine artifact's effects are too powerful, Su Yang exclaimed as he looked at the dusk ring in his hand. In his opinion, the effect of the twilight ring was simply a divine artifact. It was able to stabilize one's body in a certain state. In other words, when he entered the state of the Mad Blade, the effect that could only last for a few minutes could last for an hour after using the twilight ring. What made Su Yang even more surprised was the charged state of the sword draw could also be fixed. The sword drawer that had been charged up could only temporarily release its power. And when dusk was up, it could continue, even though it was only an hour. However, this was still a terrifying existence. He thought of the 5 points of divinity he still had. Su Yang's heart was filled with excitement. Just think about it. The original sword drawer, after using divinity, could only charge up for 50,000 seconds in an instant. With the ring of dusk, the sword drawn 50,000 times could last an hour. Su Yang was excited just thinking about this power. Good stuff. Without saying much, Su Yang put on the twilight ring. After checking the 2 items, Su Yang got up and roasted the divine flesh. On the other side, Su Yang began to browse the forum. What's the reason why Heavenly Sun is so powerful? Please view this video for the analysis of Heavenly Sun's combat strength. Heavenly Sun, a godlike man from the Dragon Kingdom in the east. The same cape as Heavenly Sun, you can receive one by placing an order. Almost all the information that entered her eyes was about him. Su Yang couldn't take it anymore. He quickly closed the forum. He couldn't look at it anymore. If he continued, he felt that his entire body would swell up. He switched to the forum's trading area. At this time, Su Yang checked the previous trading post on the forum about buying swords. There were already many sellers who had taken pictures. However, he had been in the secret dungeon of the promotion mission and had yet to have the time to check it. However, it was not too late. After looking for a few sellers, he spent more than 500,000 gold coins to buy a silver-grade long sword and 5 bronze-grade long blades. The effects were pretty good. In addition, there was the silver-ranked general's blade that had killed the blade demon general. These weapons should be enough to feed Heart Slayer. Su Yang thought to himself as he looked at the 7 blades in front of him. Through the spirit contract, he knew that Su Yang was planning to use the Heart Slayer, and the blade couldn't help but tremble. "Brother, are these all for me to devour?" The voice of Heart Slayer rang out in Su Yang's heart. "That's right, these are all for you," Su Yang replied with a smile. As his life weapon, he needed to strengthen it now. "Brother, you're the best." Heart Slayer's voice revealed an expression of extreme joy. Soon, Heart Slayer transformed into his human form. He squinted his eyes happily and took the 7 knives from Su Yang's hands. Then it directly devoured these weapons one by one. Meow, meow, tilde. At this time, little Zai's figure came out of the pet space, jumped on Su Yang's shoulder, and called out in a baby voice. "Don't worry, I won't leave you out." Su Yang smiled as he stroked little Zai's round head. He saw someone selling a spiritual fish in the forum's trading area just now. He heard that it was caught from a secret dungeon. The taste was fresh, and eating more could strengthen one's physique. At that time, he had paid attention to it. Now he could buy a few for little Zai. With this in mind, Su Yang spent tens of thousands of gold coins to buy 9 spiritual fish. These spiritual fish were still very fresh. After some slight processing, they were roasted together with divine flesh and blood. Looking at the spiritual fish that Su Yang placed on the grill, little Zai's small body kept walking around the grill. He raised his head from time to time and licked his lips. Su Yang could not help but chuckle when he saw this. On the other side, after Heart Slayer had devoured all these weapons, the strength of your life weapon has been dramatically increased. Received life weapon experience feedback. Received a massive amount of experience points. You have leveled up. Current level LV24. Received 100 free attribute points. You have leveled up. Current level LV25. Received 100 free attribute points. In an instant, a large amount of experience was fed back to Su Yang through the contract. Su Yang's level increased by 2 levels again. He received another 200 free attribute points. After distributing the free attribute points he had just obtained, Su Yang's eyes looked at Heartslayer. At this moment, Heartslayer was squinting his eyes, feeling the increase in his strength. After a while, Heartslayer opened his eyes and looked at Su Yang. There was a joyful smile in his eyes. "Brother, I've become stronger again. This way, I can continue to help you fight better." "Amazing. Tell me, how are your gains?" Su Yang smiled and praised him. When he saw that Heartslayer wanted to share his gains with him, he took the initiative to say this. "Yes, let me tidy up first." Heartslayer smiled and nodded. He then closed his eyes and organized his gains from devouring weapons. Chapter 48, Chapter 48, Upgrading Heartslayer and Learning Platinum Inferno /. Looking at Heartslayer, whose eyes were closed, Su Yang was not in a hurry and waited patiently. As the contracted object, he could directly check the current state of the Heartslayer. However, when he thought about how Heartslayer wanted to share the joy with him, he would accept him just like that. After all, the Heartslayer was the weapon spirit of his family's weapon. He still had to hold her in his hands. Very quickly, Xinjian opened his eyes. "Brother, besides my previous abilities, I've also gained 3 new abilities." When he thought about the other 3 new abilities he had obtained, Heartslayer's tone was filled with joy. As he listened to Heartslayer's excited explanation, Su Yang gradually understood the other 3 abilities Heartslayer had just obtained. The first ability was that when attacking an enemy, there was a 10% chance of causing the other party to fall into 1-2 seconds of silence. The second ability was that when attacking an enemy, there was a 30% chance of cursing the other party, causing the other party to enter a cursed state, and their stamina, HP, and recovery ability would be reduced. It could also be considered as a debuff to the opponent, a debuff with a negative effect. The third ability was not as strong as the first 2 abilities. It was the bleeding effect. Attacking an enemy caused a 15% bleeding effect, stacked with Su Yang's heavy injury skill. After hearing Heartslayer's introduction, Su Yang smiled and patted Heartslayer. Su Yang was already delighted with the improvement in her strength. The current Heartslayer was still in its growing stage. Later on, as Heartslayer grew stronger, the special effects it would gain would increase. At that time, even if Su Yang did not use his abilities, he could cause terrifying damage with just Heartslayer. Feeling the joy in Su Yang's heart, Heartslayer smiled happily. "Meow tilde." At this time, little Zai, pacing around the barbecue grill, meowed at Su Yang. Su Yang looked over. It turned out that the spiritual fish had been roasted. Little Zai must be eager to eat it. But without Su Yang's consent, it didn't dare to. Hence, it meowed softly at Su Yang. All right, let's eat." Looking at little Zai's impatient appearance, Su Yang smiled and walked over. He picked up a grilled spiritual fish from the barbecue rack and placed it in front of little Zai. Then he looked at the divine flesh. The divine flesh and blood on the barbecue rack had already been roasted for a long time. But now it seemed that there was not much change. Indeed, it can't be cooked, or is it because the flames can't cook the meat? After checking Su Yang's divine flesh and blood, he finally understood. This flesh and blood could not be cooked with ordinary fire. Since that was the case, Su Yang couldn't help but think about how to cook this piece of fresh meat. He really couldn't accept it if he ate it raw. After thinking for a while, Su Yang had a bold idea. I wonder if the flames of the inferno/intent can cook this flesh. He did as he said. Su Yang casually called out to Heart Slayer. Heart Slayer understood Su Yang's meaning. It turned into a sharp sword and flew toward his palm. Su Yang, holding the Heart Slayer, looked at the divine flesh and blood and slowly swung the blade. Inferno slash. A scorching flame appeared on the blade of Heart Slayer. Afterward, he used the flaming heart, beheading blade to pick up the divine flesh and roast it. The flames produced by the inferno/intent were more potent than ordinary flames. Slowly, the divine flesh and blood cooked by the inferno blade intent also began to change. After a while, the fragrance of roasted meat wafted out. This meat looks pretty good after being cooked, Su Yang thought to himself as he looked at the divine flesh and blood that had already been cooked. At this moment, your proficiency in the inferno/intent has increased. Inferno/skill level increased. Inferno/ has been upgraded to level 10. Acquired new skill Inferno Blade Technique, Platinum. Inferno/ level Platinum. Type, Damage Type Blade Technique. Effect 1. Inferno Swordsmanship's damage increased by 200%. Effect 2. Able to freely control the form of the Inferno Blade Technique and create your blade technique. Information about the Platinum grade Inferno/ entered his mind, and he quickly familiarized himself with it. At the same time, Su Yang felt that his comprehension of the inferno/intent had deepened, as if he had used it for thousands of years. This situation, it's just a barbecue, right? You've already comprehended platinum-grade blade techniques. He looked at the divine flesh and blood that had already been roasted, and the comprehension of the raging inferno blade technique in his mind. Su Yang's entire body appeared to be a little dazed. Although he had already guessed that he would master the other 3 platinum blade techniques, like the Gale blade technique, he was still very confident about the future. However, after roasting the divine flesh and blood this time, he had comprehended the inferno/ just like that. This was beyond his expectations. Could it be? Is it related to this piece of flesh? Su Yang looked at the divine flesh that had been roasted and guessed in his heart. Perhaps was it the power of the gods? If you use the inferno/ to roast meat with divine power, your proficiency can be increased quickly. For the time being, Su Yang could only come to this conclusion. However, no matter what, it was a happy thing to master a new platinum-grade raging inferno blade technique. Now he put down the roasted divine flesh and blood. Su Yang held the Heart Slayer and felt it quietly. After that, he waved the blade of Heart Slayer, and a blazing flame ignited. If I can, no, it should be that if you master the blade intent of raging fire to the extreme, then this blade intent that contains a terrifying flame can burn everything in the world. At this moment, Su Yang suddenly had this feeling in his heart. At the same time, he thought of the Gale blade technique. In the same way, if he mastered the Gale blade intent to the extreme, the Gale might even be able to tear the void. At that time, this would not be a simple storm. Instead, it was a destructive tornado. Blade intent. This power is most likely necessary to reach a higher level. Su Yang's eyes lit up as he gained a deeper understanding of his abilities. He had a deeper understanding of the power of blade intent. After that, he planned to use the Delusion Breaker Eye to check. At this moment, his mastery and proficiency of the 4 types of blade intent had increased. Chapter 49, Chapter 49, Change in Time, Evil God's Curse. 49, Chapter 49, Change in Time, Evil God's Curse. With the delusion breaker eye, he could see some hidden attributes that could not be seen or were difficult to see. Therefore, it was quite easy for Su Yang to check the proficiency information of blade intent. Blade intent proficiency. Gale blade intent 53%, Inferno blade intent 35%, Thunder blade intent 11%, Water blade intent 8%. The blade intent of Gale is the most proficient, followed by the blade intent of Inferno blade. It's about the same as I imagined, Su Yang murmured in a low voice as he looked at his proficiency in the 4 types of blade intent on the interface. This was almost the same as what he had expected. However, he could only obtain more specific information by looking at it. It would also allow him to be more precise in mastering the 4-blade Dao. After understanding his proficiency in detail, Su Yang retracted his thoughts. It was not an easy task to increase the proficiency of blade intent. This time, his blazing blade intent was able to be improved while cooking the divine flesh and blood, allowing him to master platinum-level blade techniques. This could be considered an accident among accidents. He looked at the divine flesh and blood, 50 vitality and 10 years of life. This effect was too powerful. Moreover, the divine flesh and blood that was cooked looked and smelled very good. Therefore, Su Yang made some preparations and ate the divine flesh that had been roasted. The taste is better than I imagined, Su Yang commented in his heart. After eating the divine flesh and blood, he felt his physique had strengthened. Su Yang couldn't help but look at his current attribute information. Basic attributes: Strength 1001, Constitution 1053, Agility 561, Intelligence 77. Strength and Constitution, these 2 basic attributes, had broken through the 1000 mark. This made Su Yang's strength increase again. After finishing the barbecue, Su Yang decided to rest for a day. After coming out of the mythical advancement mission's secret dungeon, he had wanted to rest and relax. However, he was interrupted by professionals from the other world. After dealing with professionals from the other world, it was time to relax. And so, on this day, Su Yang brought Heart Slayer and Little Zai around the city. The city wall outside Rock City had been completed. It looked tall and heavy from a distance, full of a sense of security. Su Yang could see that there were all kinds of firearms and cannons on these thick city walls. This was probably to deal with the possible monster attack that might happen after a month. Rock City was not the only city with such walls in the Dragon Kingdom. Other cities had also built such walls. Some residents outside the city had also moved into the city to live. Other than the Dragon Kingdom, some of the more powerful countries had also adopted a similar method, building thick and tall city walls around the central city. As for the smaller countries, they could either rely on the more prominent countries or rely on their methods. The humans on the blue planet had more or less begun to adapt to the world after the arrival of heaven. Moreover, everything was starting to adapt to the rules of heaven, developing and growing. He wandered around for a day to relax. Su Yang returned home. At the same time, he began to think about his next plan. Continuing to become stronger was his primary goal. However, he had to be specific about how he could become stronger. The third effect of the talent is still 2 attributes away from being successfully activated. After pondering for a moment, Su Yang thought of his forbidden talent and had an idea. He was looking forward to the third effect, when the remaining 2 unique attributes were fully accumulated. Although I'm still missing 2 attributes, I can't look for those trash attributes. However, it's not easy to come across better attributes. After thinking about it, although he wanted to max out the remaining 2 special attributes when he thought they could be divided into good and bad ones, he didn't want to farm a few trash attributes randomly. Let's just look at the situation. I still have a lucky item. In the next few days, I'll try my luck outside the city. I'll use this lucky item if I don't meet any good ones. With the blessing of luck, I'll be able to meet monsters with different attributes. He remembered that he still had a lucky item in his ring of glory. Su Yang didn't feel too conflicted about this. 5 more days, and the 1-month protection period will be up. What should I do if the monsters attack the city? At this time, Su Yang did a simple calculation of the time since Heaven Realm descended and thought, I'll see how it goes then. Tomorrow, I'll go outside the city or find a few secret lands to farm the remaining 2 special attributes. He thought about the possible monster tide that might happen when Heaven descended. Su Yang didn't have too many plans. It would be okay to decide after seeing the specific situation. At this moment, outside the blue planet, a shooting star streaked across the sky. Following that, the shooting star charged straight toward the blue planet and fell into the sky above the blue planet. It slowly turned illusionary and disappeared. Then a secret dungeon was born. The evil god of dusk has cast a curse on you. You will be affected by the curse of the evil god. You have entered the evil god's secret land dungeon. Su Yang, who was thinking about what to do next, suddenly froze. Before he could react, his figure disappeared into thin air. In a daze, Su Yang seemed to see a vast figure in the dusk, looking at him with a ferocious face. Then his vision blurred. Su Yang found himself in a world of dusk in the sky. You have encountered a special situation. You have been teleported to a special secret dungeon. You have arrived at the evil god of dusk's secret land dungeon. Unable to exit the evil god of dusk's special secret land dungeon, you can only leave the secret land after successfully killing the evil god's avatar, the special boss of the evil land of dusk. Status frozen. You will not be affected by hunger. Your stamina will recover automatically. Damned human. Because of you, I lost a large amount of divine power. But all of this is worth it. The evil god of dusk, who had been in the world of dusk all this time, looked away from the blue planet and murmured. Chapter 50, Chapter 50. Millions of dire wolves, tens of thousands of years of lifespan. He looked at the land in front of him. The surroundings looked like the wasteland of doomsday. Su Yang was stunned for a moment, but he quickly reacted. He held the Heart Slayer in his hand and looked around vigilantly. After confirming that there was no danger for the time being, he finally relaxed. He recalled the information from the system prompt earlier. The curse of the evil god. I was brought into this secret dungeon by the curse of the evil god of dusk. Thinking of this, Su Yang's eyes darkened. He had not expected the dusk evil god to have such a trick up its sleeve. At the same time, under the curse's influence, he had a rough understanding of the effects of the curse. Curse. It was a mythical skill. Furthermore, they were very rare. The curse itself could not cause any harm to the person who cursed it. For the cursed, being able to receive a curse was like a fortuitous encounter, and they could still benefit from it. It was just like the prompt that Su Yang had received when he entered the dusk evil god's secret land. He could be considered to have profited from this misfortune. Entering this secret dungeon, his status would be frozen, so hunger would not affect him. His stamina could also be recovered. It could be said that the curse of the evil god of dusk could not do much harm to him. However, a curse was still a curse. The evil god of dusk would not be so stupid as to give Su Yang benefits simply. At this moment, Su Yang's delusion-breaker eyes looked at the curse power that had yet to dissipate. Information on the curse of the evil god of dusk found. Curse of the dusk evil god, heavenly sun will meet him. Meet him. Su Yang felt confused, and the evil god of dusk had given up. This secret dungeon was dangerous. For the time being, it was most likely the avatar of the dusk evil god. The curse of the evil god of dusk hoped that Su Yang would be able to meet him. This secret dungeon's final reward requires killing the dusk evil god's doppelganger. However, just how powerful was the doppelganger of the dusk evil god? There was no way to know. Just how powerful is this avatar of the dusk evil god? Its strength is not at a level I can't fight against. Otherwise, the curse would never have taken effect. Do I need to use all my strength to have a chance of defeating it? Su Yang pondered in his heart. After obtaining the relevant information through the delusion-breaker eyes, he was certain that the final boss of the dusk evil god's secret land, the avatar of the dusk evil god, was not so powerful that he could not face it. It shouldn't be. Su Yang was a little confused. If there's a chance that I can kill the final boss, why would the dusk evil god waste so much effort to bring me here? There are other hidden threats that are no less dangerous than the avatar of the evil god of dusk. Just as Su Yang was thinking about what he should do, the dusk evil god's secret land dungeon. Su Yang's arrival disturbed some existences in this place that had been reduced to a wasteland. Countless wolf-dog-like monsters appeared from the ruins. Then these monsters gathered into a group and rushed towards Su Yang like a tide. Roar! 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 Heart-wrenching roars came one after another. Hearing these roars, Su Yang's face darkened. Is the real danger here? He leaped and landed on an abandoned building next to him. He looked around, and his pupils shrank instantly. In his eyes, many wolf-like monsters ran toward him from all directions. A dusk fearsome wolf, level 30. HP 6000. A defense 2000. Attack 2500. A skills claw tier. The level 30 dusk terror wolf was at the peak of the bronze rank. A single terror wolf was no threat to Su Yang. However, there were at least 1 million of them. Could this be the dusk evil god's true killing move? Looking at the sunset terror wolf charging at him like the ocean, Su Yang realized that this might be the first move the evil god of dusk would use against him. In the face of such a large number of monsters, even the number one person on the blue planet, Su Yang, would find it difficult to resist. There were simply too many of them. Moreover, each and every one of them was not weak. They were all level 30 bronze rank existences. To think that you would go this far for me, the dusk evil god. Su Yang's eyes flashed with a complex and sharp look. Seeing the terror wolf charging at him, he swung his heart slayer with all his might and killed it quickly. He killed dusk terror wolf. Gained 123 experience points. Lifespan attribute increased. Lifespan. Su Yang was stunned for a moment. He did not expect the attribute increase from killing this monster would be lifespan. Through the delusion breaker eyes, he could see how much his lifespan had increased. By a simple estimation, it was about 7 days to a week of life. If a single fearsome wolf can increase my lifespan by a week, then wouldn't a million of them be able to increase my lifespan by tens of thousands of years? After a quick calculation, Su Yang was a little unsettled. These millions of lifespans were not a simple number and time. However, it was not an easy task to kill millions of fearsome wolves. Not only would it be difficult for him to complete the task alone, but he might also be exhausted to death. However, Su Yang remembered that he had not yet used his platinum forbidden scroll and was curious. Su Yang smiled as he looked at the fearsome wolf running toward him. In his eyes, the fearsome wolves were no longer monsters. They were living beings that had lived for tens of thousands of years. Wait for them to come closer, Su Yang thought. Not long after, countless wolves were already charging toward them. When Su Yang felt the time was right, he immediately tore the platinum forbidden scroll in his hand. In that instant, the evening sky had turned into a disaster. Countless meteors fell from the sky. Boom! Boom, boom! Soon, the sea-like dreadwolves began to die. You killed the dusk terror wolf. Gained 123 experience points. A lifespan increased. With the death of the terror wolves, Su Yang's lifespan was also increasing rapidly. Your lifespan has increased by 10,458 years. Acquired special attribute boundless longevity. A boundless longevity. Effect. With this special attribute, you will gain permanent beauty, permanent vitality, and another status. 10,000 years of life. Ha ha ha. Su Yang was extremely excited when he saw the special attribute he had obtained. Damn it, you should die. Why does he have a platinum-grade forbidden scroll? Why? Why did you? At that moment, the avatar of the evil god of dusk, hiding in the secret realm, was furious. This was completely different from what he had expected. He had originally been prepared to enslave Su Yang when he was on the verge of death after being attacked by the fearsome wolves. No, I can't let him continue. Realizing that the situation was not right, the avatar decided to take the initiative. That's a wrap for this installment. Thank you all for watching and supporting Lord of the Stories. If you enjoyed this tale, please hit the like button, share it, and subscribe for more amazing stories. You can also explore other series updated daily in our playlists. Have a fantastic day and see you in the next episode.